You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
It's Wednesday night, time for the Paranormal Experience radio show with host Kat Hobson. Kick back, relax, and get ready to learn. Welcome to the show. Now, here's Kat.
Hello there. Welcome to Paranormal Experience Radio. I am your host, Kat Hobson. I am so excited to welcome you here. This is WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama, and this is going to be a fabulous show tonight. I am first going to say to everyone who puts on the uniform and goes out every day, and I know you don't know if you're going to come home or not. We always pray that you do. But this is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and there's so many different kinds of enforcement. Thank every one of you for being willing to go out there and stand between us and the people who would do us harm. God bless every one of you. And that being said, we are adding shows. We have picked up at least 2, maybe a few more, and I just want to say how excited I am just to welcome them, and I look forward to that. We'll be making those further announcements on Friday. But we also are now selling advertising. So if you have something that is nifty Keno that you think people can't live without, we've got people that probably want to buy it. So if you go to www.wbhm-db.com, there's a place to look. We have 3 different packages. It's reasonable. We will provide the ads for you, and we will promote you through our shows. We've got some great listeners. So all you have to do is just pop over there and see what you want to do. We'd welcome everybody. And I just want also to let you know tonight's guest is someone who is an absolute delight. She's a lot of fun. She's witty. She's charming. She is prolific. I have no idea how she does what she does because I am trying to write a book and some articles, and I just look at her, and every time I look at her page, she says, I'm writing. I'm writing. I'm writing. And she is. And my guest is Marie D. Jones. Hi, Marie. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you. It's been so long. It feels like forever.
I know. And it's so funny because in my mind, I feel like, it's just been a few months. But then when you actually look at it, you realize how much time has passed.
Yes.
And I cannot get a grip on time lately. I just can't. I think I'm just going to give up.
Are you living in time slips now?
It just goes by too quick. I know. I remember when I was little, old people would always say, time speeds up when you're older. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But it really does.
My grandma told me when I got out of school, it would go insane. She was right. Well, of course, we're not getting older. What are you saying, Marie? I mean,
no.
Nope,
we're not.
I did see that Max is driving.
Just not going to happen.
No. But I did see that Max is licensed in the state of California as a licensed driver. Is that true?
I'm sorry, say that again, because it looks like I have a poor connection here.
Uh-oh. Well, I was saying, is Max a licensed driver now?
Oh, well, no. He has his permit.
Oh, okay. I thought he'd gotten the big dog deal.
Well, he was supposed to go for his driving test. A couple of times we had to bump it because we had we had 2 deaths in the family, like extended family. We had all kinds of craziness. So he is now scheduled for his driving test the very beginning of February. But he's ready. He's ready.
Well, I know he is.
Yeah, he turns 18 in March.
Oh, my word.
I can't even believe it. 18. That means that I am getting old.
Well, it beats the daylights out of the alternative.
Absolutely. I really agree. One of the family members that passed away, she passed away of a brain tumor, was 34.
Oh, no.
And, and you hear in the news about much younger people getting sick or what have you. And I just feel like, hey, every day that I wake up, I'm grateful for, I remember, like when I was in my 20s and 30s thinking, oh, I don't ever want to get old. And, I want to be young and beautiful forever. But I got to tell you, if you are lucky enough to get old, it really is something to do the best that you can with the time that you have. And that point gets driven home anytime I see someone like under the age of 30 or 20 passing away from an accident or cancer or what have you. So
I have a difficult time grasping those young deaths. We lost my nephew at 17. And
oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yes. And it's not something that my children have ever managed yet to lay down.
Oh boy, yeah.
It's always with them. It's just to lose a dynamic, intelligent, beautiful child, even if you're not the mother, is so horrid.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's just absolutely devastating for the entire group of people who knew him. But, you that's part of life too, and it took me a very long time to comprehend that.
Yes. And I mean, in our field,
yes.
we're always trying to find out, well, what is death and what happens after death, and is there life after death, and do things go on? And I sometimes I feel like I take a little bit of solace in knowing that even scientifically, we don't really know whether, we know the body doesn't go on, but consciousness is a whole other story.
It
and
is.
So just to think, that continues on, even if it's not in the same form that we would like it to be, I think it can provide a little bit of comfort. Not a whole lot, but a little. Still such a mystery. Here we are, 2019, and there are so many things that we still don't know.
I understand that, and it blows my mind too. And
yep.
Your research has taken you to the cusp of almost everything.
And I still know nothing.
Yes, you do. You're a great source of information. But we're still on these books here, girl, okay? No, teasing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, there is a part of me, I feel very driven, and I have since I was a little kid, to try to understand my environment and nature. But there's a part of me that at the end of the day hopes that some of the mystery remains.
Oh, yes.
Imagine if we knew the answers to everything, how boring it would be. There would be no paranormal anything. So, there's always those new mysteries to kind of keep enticing us and our curiosity.
Well, when I read your work, I am completely immersed, and you should see the notes I have. You're going to be busy. I don't know how you're going to take care of all this in 2 hours, girl. But
this will be part one.
Part one. Hey, it's been long enough. We can do a part 2 soon.
That's right.
But your work, your research, I was fascinated by is it archetypes?
Archetypes.
Archetypes.
Yeah. The power of archetypes. Yeah.
And I had no idea what that was. So,
well, I only knew because as a writer, that's something that we learn. It's kind of part of what we learn in college writing courses, and I love symbolism. I'm really big into symbolism, and so like writing books like 1111, the Time Prompt Phenomenon, where we wrote all about symbolism, kind of got me thinking about, I'd like to write about archetypes someday, because I feel like they really do drive our lives. Our lives are very symbolic. And sometimes we buy into certain symbols that maybe we shouldn't. But we see, or subconsciously, I think we're driven by symbolism.
Well, I know that there are things all the time that catch people's eye, catch people's heart, catch people's spirit. And there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
On the surface. That's one thing that I've been learning reading some of William Henry's books, too. Are you familiar with his work?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He writes a lot about, hidden realms, hidden knowledge, the realm of the subconscious, the collective unconscious. Also, he writes a lot about consciousness and ancient wisdom, which, interestingly, I think our ancestors knew a lot more about this stuff than we do.
Well, they didn't have TV.
Yeah, they didn't have the distractions. It's actually very true. And I think they lived so much closer to nature and the cycles of the world around them. We ignore those. We're stuck inside mostly. Sometimes days go by and I realize, oh my gosh, I've barely been outside. We lose that connection. And then we actually lose that connection to that part of ourselves too.
Mm-hmm. I am an outside person, and to not be able to get outside causes me to almost shut down.
Yeah.
And, we get cold here. It's been chilly and it's been raining. I don't know where all that rain came from, but good heavens. I couldn't go outside. Because I'm a little limited on that. I'm so much better, and thank everyone for the prayers. But I finally got to where I can take me outside. I can get me there. And so that's what I've been doing. For a half hour or so a day, I take the dogs and I go outside. And that's when I started healing.
Right.
My spirit started healing. And it's amazing how you have those connections. It's beautiful, but I was surprised, actually. I thought it was cool.
It is. And I think, you hear people complain. I mean, my gosh, we're all on our gadgets all the time and social networking, and I'm guilty of it too.
Me too.
And you hear people complain more than ever. Everybody's so overly sensitive. Everybody seems to be on edge. And there's nothing like a good long walk out in nature to cure that. And yet we're so afraid of doing that because we might miss something on Facebook or we might miss something on Twitter, So we take our phones with us. And so we're out in nature, but I'm checking my Instagram every 10 minutes. So I think that a lot of the malaise that people are feeling in general comes from more and more every year we're trapped inside and we're glued to screens, and that artificial light. And those EM fields that are probably really messing with our emotions and not to mention our bodies. Yeah, so, people who are kind of shutting off a little bit more and getting back out in the world, when you talk to them, they're like whole new people.
Yes.
Why didn't I do this sooner?
Yes.